Hi, this is Sam's Situation with your host, Sam Rosen. I'm here with my good friend, the Mongolian Tiger. Say hi, Mongo.
Hello.
We call him Mongo for short, and I'm also joined by my colleague, Jason Gehrline. How's it going, Gehrline?
Doing good. Good, yeah.
You know, I got some great questions for you two. This is just going to be a great show. I'm going to also provide some answers for these questions. I know you're kind of a negative guy. Mongo here, he doesn't know much about sports, but he's a real good guy. So I want you, Gehrline, to start us off. Who is the worst team in football?
Jacksonville, another place for Jaguars. The St. Louis Rams. They have no point in playing football in St. Louis. No one likes them. They're playing one of the worst stadiums in the league, and quite honestly, they don't have any fans.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Gehrline. You know, this is not a great football franchise, the Rams. I actually think the Jacksonville Jaguars are a little worse. I just don't think they have much talent with MJD holding out. Now, what, Gehrline?
He ended his holdout today.
He ended it?
Yeah, he ended it. He was last seen in Jacksonville wearing a hoodie or 100-degree weather, so no one can tell he played for the Jaguars.
Okay, well, you know, that's great news because I love this guy in fantasy football. I'm a huge fantasy guy. Oh, we'll get to some of that stuff later. Mongo, what do you have to tell us about this stuff?
I feel that the Dolphins are the worst team in football because Dolphins can't play football.
Oh, why can't Dolphins play football, Mongo?
Because they can't swim in grass.
Oh, jeez.
Gehrline, what can you say about that? That was not the most educated response I've ever heard.
What? What are you talking about? What kind of... What? Okay, first of all, the Dolphins have a future. They have a future. The Ryan Tannehill. They got some receivers. They can play defense. It has always been a promising franchise. The Dolphins can't swim in grass. Okay. Maybe there's mascots can walk in grass, so I guess that counts a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gehrline, that's a great response. He has a team now. He just really doesn't like them. Obviously, they're a great team, but why do you not like the Packers?
I feel that it's too cold to win for the Packers.
It's too cold to win for the Packers. Well, I don't think they've had much of a problem with that. Gehrline, what do you think of the Packers' chances this season?
They're not going to win in NFC. The Bears will beat them. The Lions will beat them. But more importantly, the 49ers are going to beat them down.
I agree.
Yeah, he agrees with that. He loves the 49ers. We'll hear a little bit about that later. Personally, like I said, Jacksonville, I think, is the worst team. I do think the Rams are pretty terrible. Like you said, there's no point in playing football in St. Louis. I don't really agree with that. I think it's a great fan base.
No. Because the Rams belong in LA. We're going to change it to some other name, maybe the LA Stars, the LA something. LA is a football team, and St. Louis is really losing their fan base. So the perfect time right now will get the Rams to come in around 2016, 2017, or even earlier.
Hey, Gehrline, you mentioned one time to me that you think there should be a team called the Fighting Mexicans. You said because there's a team called the Fighting Irish. Do you think a great team name would be the LA Fighting Mexicans?
Well, depending on the Hispanic community in LA, I'm pretty sure they would get offended to that.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on to another question here. Gehrline, who has the worst uniform in football? Tell me now.
Okay, the Jaguars. Wait, let me put the science into the equation. When different colors observe different light. Black absorbs all light, so when you wear black during the winter, that's supposed to make you warm. Jacksonville is only a warm place. When you're wearing black in the blazing sun, otherwise it's dehydrated. When you're dehydrated, you try to drink Gatorade. When you drink too much Gatorade, you get bloated. When you get bloated, you lose games 49-10. That's how the Jacksonville Jaguars play football.
Okay, now Mongo here, he has a surprising one. One of them, pretty widely known, that's the Cleveland Browns. Why don't you like the Cleveland Browns uniforms?
I feel they're too plain. I mean, brown and white, really? Yeah, that's fairly plain. Really original.
And how about the Redskins?
They don't even have red skin, so I don't feel They have the best jerseys.
Gehrline, what do you think of the Redskins and Browns uniforms?
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. The Redskins, they wear like a cardinal kind of color, don't they?
Yeah,
Yellow.
they're red and yellow.
Okay, that's almost the same exact color as my high school. And my high school has pretty beastly uniforms. So the Redskins have respectable uniforms. You know who looks good in that uniform? RG3.
Yeah, RG3 looks great. What do you think of his chances to be the Rookie of the Year this season?
I think that's pretty good. I mean, Andrew Luck's the only one that's sent his way. I don't think anyone else can really do anything.
Okay, yep, kind of got to agree with that. I personally don't like the Browns uniforms. I got to agree with Mongo here. They're just kind of boring to me. I mean, they're not I can't really say what my least favorite uniform in the NFL is. I really can't. It's a pretty good uniform sport. Maybe the Vikings. I don't like the purple. But,
Okay.
Gehrline, what about the Vikings uniforms?
I've seen the Vikings in person. Purple, a good color for that city. Is purple, but kind of a girly color, which reminds me of the Vikings offensive line. Basically, it's almost as bad as the Bears offensive line, except just a little bit more better.
Okay, yeah, let's move on to a different question here. Now, Gehrline, I know you're very particular about different type of stadiums in the NFL. I've heard you rant on this before, and I just love to hear it again. So, what's the worst stadium in football?
Qualcomm Stadium, I'll work through it quickly. Qualcomm Stadium is the worst football stadium for a couple of reasons. The janitors are underpaid and they're understaffed, which makes the stadium a breeding ground for new diseases and all these other stuff. The stadium smells horrible. They should probably get some Febreze in there. The fans most of them do not like the stadium. It gets hot. On some days it becomes a giant microwave, which I can explain maybe from some of the fires that happen here in California. I don't understand for a lot of reasons. They don't have good concessions, and the whole area around there is just horrible. Okay.
You know, I've been to Qualcomm Stadium only once in my life, and the reason being exactly what you just said. It is a dump. I'm a Charger fan. I'm not a huge Charger fan. I really root for the Bears, but I do live in Southern California, so that's kind of one of the main reasons there. Mongo, what do you think of this?
I feel the Cowboy Stadium, I feel it's the worst because it is too nice. It hurts my eyes.
Hurts his eyes. Gehrline, does Cowboy Stadium hurt your eyes?
Okay. Have you heard of the YouTube group Dude Perfect, the guys who do the trick shots, like all over the place? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Wait, what did you say? What did you just say, Gehrline?
You know the YouTube channel Dude Perfect, the guys who do the trick basketball shots.
Yeah, we do, Gehrline. Yeah.
They actually went to Cowboy Stadium, I believe. I think it was them. They were there a couple of days ago. They played NCAA football 13 on a giant screen at Cowboy Stadium. That's pretty cool to start off with, right?
Yeah, I changed my mind. I feel that the LA Coliseum is the worst stadium because I don't really know any other ones, and since it's not Cowboys anymore, I think that's it.
That's not really a stadium. Gehrline, do you like the Coliseum as a college football stadium? I mean, it's not an NFL stadium. Mongo here is getting a little ahead of himself here. Gehrline, what do you think about LA Coliseum as a USC football stadium?
Coliseum is not as bad as a dump as Qualcomm, to say the least. They don't have the best seating arrangements. They don't have the best stadium, but they have a classic Coliseum. Well, classic stadium. There's been a lot of events held there. The Dodgers used to play there back in the 60s. The Raiders used to play there. It's a historical stadium, so you can't beat that.
Thank you.
Okay, what do you think of Tim Tebow and the New York Jets? Gehrline, I know you're very opinionated about this. Mongo, too. So, Gehrline, start us off here.
Okay, people need to stop and realize that they're not going to be quarterbacks anytime in their lifetime. So, when they pick on Tim Tebow, it's just them contemplating about their old dreams trying to be a football player. Tim Tebow has a lot of pressure on himself. He didn't want ESPN covering him every 5 seconds. It's not his choice. If he had it the other way, he'd rather just be alone. He'd rather have no media coverage than all the media coverage all over him. That being said, we put so much pressure on the guy who's only going to be on the wildcat offense in like the red zone. You can't really put on him. Mark Sanchez is going to be the quarterback for the New York Jets, thick and thin.
Okay, Mongo here. He's not too familiar with this. He doesn't watch ESPN very much. But Mongo, what do you think about when you think of the New York Jets?
Well, I'm very happy for my idol, Tim Tebow. I've looked up to him for a long time. But I cry when I think about Mark Sanchez because he went to my high school. So,
Gehrline?
How long is a long time? How long is a long time?
like, I think 3 months.
Lord, have mercy on this child. Okay. Okay. I don't know how to even respond to that.
Okay, Gehrline, I don't think you have to. That was pretty ridiculous right there. I feel really sad for you that you had to witness that and that I had to witness that. Personally, I gave a broadcast almost solely devoted to Tim Tebow on our old website, 1000 Mics. It basically stated, it was very, very sarcastic, that I am not a huge Tebow fan. I do like to watch him play. He's a fun person to watch, but he's not the starter for the Jets, so ESPN, please leave the kid alone. Okay. Gehrline, is there any chance that the New York Jets will be crowned NFL Super Bowl champions?
Okay. No. 1,000 times no. 1,000 times more no. They don't even stand a chance in their own division. Right now, they're predicted to finish third in the division. Who's going to be in second place team? The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I really like the Bills. Personally, I think they're a very big sleeper in the NFL. Before Fred Jackson went down, before Ryan Fitzpatrick started to struggle a little bit because of his rib injury, there were some very good pieces for this team. Mongo, do you think the Jets have a chance?
Well, I believe they do have a chance, seeing as that every team has a chance, except for the Browns.
Gehrline, do the Browns have a chance?
What? What are you talking about? I feel like I'm talking to a drug addict right now. The Browns aren't going to win more than 7 games in this season. They're not going to make the playoffs. They don't have the kind of tools that they could use. They basically, what they did was last season, they got Cole McCoy, and thanks to Peyton Hillis being injured, he had to throw 60 more passes per game. And now they brought another guy in, which is Brandon Whedon. It doesn't help at all. He's going to be a quarterback who actually can think and actually run an offense effectively, which the Cleveland Browns aren't made for offense. So that's going to be a problem.
Okay, let's switch up questions here. We talked about that long enough. Okay, top 5 NFL QBs. We're going to go top 5 QBs, top 5 running backs, top 5 wide receivers, top 5 defenses. Gehrline, top 5 QBs in the NFL.
I'm not going in any order. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Let's go with Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger and how about I'm thinking I'm gonna think about this guy. Oh, Tony Romo.
Okay, Romo and Rivers, two interesting, very controversial quarterbacks. Why them?
Because Romo was being pressured by Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones probably goes over the Romo's house every day, asking him, "Do we have a Super Bowl yet? Do you have a Super Bowl yet?" And Tony Romo is going to do it at 4 a.m. and telling him, "Jerry, go home. The season hasn't even started." You know, Mr. Rivers comes in. He's a colorblind of football, except he doesn't have any championships. And, well, he knows how to run an offense. He knows what to do. They're just not a playoff team.
Yep, I like the quarterbacks. I don't think they're in my top 5. My top 5 in order goes Aaron Rodgers, a great quarterback. Tom Brady, Mr. Consistency. Then really Drew Brees. I understand that there's some issues with the whole coaching staff. I don't really buy into the fact that that'll make him worse. And then Matthew Stafford and Cam Newton, two younger quarterbacks with really high upside, in my opinion. Manning, Romo,